Hello friends, this is a little gear review of the Roland Microcube GX. This is a product I adore, I use it all the time. I am not sponsored or supported by Roland in any way, but it probably sounds like I am because I love these things. I've owned probably close to 10 in my guitar career. Sometimes I lose them, sometimes I've got 2 in storage in Europe, a few in Australia. I've left one on a train. I don't think I've ever had one break. In all that time, a lot of busking, a lot of traveling, a lot of airports, a lot of trains. I've lost them and I've broken them, but I've never had one let me down. The way I broke one was by removing the grill because I didn't like the appearance at one point. Took the grill off and the speaker ended up getting damaged. Totally my fault. It's an amplifier. It's got, I suppose, what you call modeling technology, so it can model different amps. For my acoustic tone, if you want to bring the camera in here, we'll just have a little look at the amps that are available. So, Acoustic Simulation, let's see what that sounds like. I'm playing a Gibson Les Paul. Nothing particularly to write home about, I suppose. I never use the acoustic, even when I play acoustic guitar, I don't use the acoustic simulation. I use JC Clean, I love that sound. I'll just roll back a bit. So JC, that's my favorite clean tone. When I'm playing the Spanish guitar, I use that. Tiny bit of reverb I put in there. The weakness I would say of this amp is these middle ones, like the Brit combo, the black panel. Just go up a bit of volume. That's the Brit combo. I suppose they're going for like a Marshall kind of thing. If I go full gain, full volume. Volume being different to master volume. Does that sound like a Les Paul through a Marshall? It's not too bad. That's not too bad, Les Paul through a Marshall for a 3-watt amp. Look how small it is. That's definitely a pass mark. The stuff I really love to use on, and then there's classic stack. Once again, would that be a Marshall kind of thing, or maybe Brit combo was more like a Voxy kind of thing? I think those are very reasonable tones. Then the ones I love here, rectifier stack. To me that has plenty of chunk and plenty of rip. And then there's the extreme setting. And that's pretty ripping. I mean, if you come and have a look here with the camera, the master volume's on like about 2. I'm getting a bit of feedback there because of my guitar pickups, but the master volume's pretty low. We can crank that a bit. Let's just do a bit of cranking just to see what this thing's actually capable of. It's a very small box. It's not heavy. And that's volume on half. Maybe move the camera way back and we'll go for some volume. I might move back a little myself. So we've got the volume just under half. That's about 65%. If you're at home or in the garage or something like that, I reckon you can jam with a reasonably volumed drummer with this amp. I've done it a few times with our drummer Jules. He's very, very loud, so if you're going for a loud situation, you need something bigger. But this thing could definitely push air. It's definitely not a toy. I love this amplifier. I use it in the speaker for in the studio. So when I have a choice of equipment, including computer modeling and real amps, I use this. So that's probably the biggest compliment you can give a piece of gear, is that you choose to use it when you can. If we bring the camera in, come and have a look at the effects. They're pretty fun. They're not great, but I treat them as almost like a bonus because I would love this thing. If this thing had no effects, if it just had the amp modeling and the master volume, I'd be thrilled. But it comes with some really nice effects. So I pretty much always use the reverb, always just put a little bit of reverb in when I'm using this. I've gone back to the JC Clean. I'll keep the turn on Brit combo for now. This is not one I use very often, so it'd be good for me to do something a bit different as well. Bring that down a bit. Sounds like the old guitar. Needs to go to the old guitar workshop, isn't it? That's my lead, that's not the amp, by the way. So the reverb, if you put a lot of reverb on, that's a nice reverb. Now, no one's claiming that this is going to replace your effects pedals, but for home or jamming or whatever, perfectly usable. Right at the end of the reverb is the spring reverb, which is a bit funny. I never really use it, but it's there. The delay, it doesn't get very it doesn't get very long. So a bit of fun to be had there with the delay, and you can turn that down a bit. So if I just put like a tiny bit of delay, how does that sound? That's like a slapback, isn't it? So there's the delay. Then there's these effects, so a bit of chorus. I'll go back to clean tone. Bit of chorus there. Usable. I never really use chorus. I love the flanger and the phaser. I use them plenty. And the phaser's really cool, I reckon. So it's got some fun effects. You can make a lot of tones just by combining the effects and the amps. Here's the tremolo. I never really use this one either, but tremolo's famous like surf guitar. It's not a very big tremolo, is it? I never really use that one, but it's there. And then heavy octave, fun for that, like a Digitech whammy pedal, like low octave effect. I never use octave in the traditional sense, which some people do to kind of just thicken up the tone. I never really do that. It's like get a bass player or whatever. I use it almost as an effect to make it that machiney, toy kind of sound. So I think that's a perfect example of that, where you're not really fooling anyone that you've got a bassist playing, although you could. Have a bit of fun with it. That's the heavy octave. My preferred way to use this amp, I usually actually have this effects knob off. I have the effects off and I use a tiny bit of reverb, but that's just a personal choice. I usually play Spanish guitar, so when I'm home, I like to play a bit of metal. So I use the rectifier or the extreme sound, turn gain, volume, turn up to full, master pretty low. It's got a couple other features. I rarely use them, but the tuner can be useful. It doesn't actually have a proper chromatic tuner. If you come and have a look at the tuner, it's just got a light for green for in tune, flat and sharp. You just play a note. You press your button for the tuner. I've got to turn my volume up. Turn your volume for tuner. It's just telling me that note's a tiny bit flat. So it doesn't know what note, so it's not gonna help you with alternate tunings or stuff like that. It'd just be good if you wanna quickly tune up. Definitely better than nothing. The old one, the previous model had a tuning fork. I think it just sounded an A note. That was slightly useful as well. I used it rarely, but then again, my Spanish guitars all have built-in tuners. But that's the tuner setting. There's a memory here. I never use it either, but the memory, what it basically does is you can make a tone, save it to memory, and then make a new tone and flick between whatever you've got dialed in and the memory. So there's actually two. You can save one and dial one in, so you can have two tones going at once. I tend not to use that. Maybe I should. It's probably a very good feature. It is a good feature. I'm just very old school. I just like a nice tone and I just get to playing. The aux in, so you can run your cable in. You can do, put your phone through it, play some music or whatever. Batteries, it takes 6 AA's. We've done a lot of street performances with these in Europe and in Australia in the early days of our career. Basically, we'd charge the batteries every night. We'd use rechargeables, charge them after every session or performance, and play. You go 3 hours at like full cranking volume, and a lot longer if you're not cranking it. Or you just run the power, which comes with the amp. It's got the little handle, which is nice. If I take out my leads for a sec. When you're transporting it, you've got your little leather handle. If it's leather or not, I don't know. But that's good. So, wonderful, wonderful amplifier. I love it. I keep one at home, one in the studio, 2 in Europe, one at my friend's house. They're beautiful, they're great. Highly recommend it. If you're thinking about getting one, just get one. Whether you're a busker, whether you're practicing at home, whether it's for your little band room, whether it's just to have some choices rather than have a few amps at home. These amp simulations are very, very usable. I think they sound wonderful. And I choose to use this thing in the studio over much more expensive and prestigious gear because I really, really like it. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments, happy to talk, and enjoy playing the guitar. That's what it's all about.